Hey there, Katie Woodard again with Team Leader KW Montgomery. We're going to jump into Ignite Session 2, Embrace Your Job. So let's work through it together. So in Embrace Your Job, it is in the category of Real Estate Expert. Our session 1 was Spark Your Career, and you can go back in the YouTube channel to access that recording if you had not had time to look at that one yet. So on today's agenda, we are going to look at applying the 6 core competencies of a business. We're going to recognize your role as a fiduciary for the clients. We're going to review your success system, have, of course, our recap and ahas, and go into our next daily success system. So what part of being a real estate agent excites you the most? Well, that's something we want to think about. Having a career in real estate is extremely rewarding. It's also extremely challenging, and it gives you the opportunity to support someone in making one of their most important decisions in life. And with that comes a lot of responsibility and a lot of relationship building. Behind the big results of successful real estate career are the daily activities, and that's what we talk about with the daily success system. And so the day-to-day success systems of the real estate agents that are high achievers, high producers, that's the 6 core competencies that we are going to discuss. So the 6 core competencies of a business. First, you have to lead generate, capture, and convert appointments. So lead generate is your main thing. Number 2, you're going to present to buyers and sellers and get an agreement. So holding those appointments. The goal of the conversations about real estate is to schedule appointments. Appointments are to convert to agreements, whether that be a buyer agreement representation or your seller's listing. You're going to show buyers houses and market sellers listings. You're going to write and negotiate contracts. You're going to coordinate the sale to closing, and you're going to manage your money. And so overall, this is the path of the competencies. And then we're going to go over each one by one. So the first one is to lead generate, capture, and convert to appointments. We've gone through all of these here. So the first thing we want to discover is that there are a lot of things that you can be doing habit-wise, but if you don't have the right mindset, it doesn't matter the activities you're going to have. It's not going to be as fruitful as it could be if you don't have the right mindset going into it. It's an essential component to the job. To all of those things that we just talked about, those things need to be calendared in your day. You need to be very intentional about doing all of those items, and that's going to produce. But also having the mindset and the unlimited beliefs that we talked about from the 6 personal perspectives on session 1, your mindset does matter. You want to maintain a mindset on being focused, of being in service. So to achieve your highest potential, the 6 core competencies must be done consistently and done well. Again, I talked a little bit about having this on your calendar, making sure that you have those time block sessions. So I want you to think about this. How long on average does it take to get a buyer or a seller to sign a contract for listing agreement? Do you know? If this is your very first experience and training with real estate, you've just gotten your license, you may not know. If you've done a couple deals, you may have an idea. So statistically, it can go from 1 to 60 days, depending on how much time you put into lead generating every day, how many appointments you go on, and how many contracts you get signed. These are things to be tracking so that you know how many appointments you need to go on to get to how many closings. How long do you think it takes a transaction to go from contract to close so that you're paid? There, it's 30 to 60 days. It's depending on the market. So right now, we're right at about 45 days. That's changing. We see some market signals looking like that's changing, but you can bet on those 30 to 60 days. That's a long time for the time commitment to do that. So how quickly do you want to get paid? If the things that you do today impact you 60 to 120 days from now, what are you doing today to ensure in that time you get paid? How long can you go without a paycheck? For those of us in full-time real estate, you have to consider that. So we're going to help you develop the skills in these areas to lead generate every day, to build your database of contacts, to communicate with people about real estate daily, to commit on going on a lot of appointments, and to practice conversations every day. The quote from session 1 was, anyone can do it, but not everyone will. Are you going to commit to the 6 core competencies? What are your ahas from this conversation? For me, one of the main questions I had when I got my real estate license was, what do I need to be doing? What do I need to be focused on? This is it right here, the 6 core competencies. You may want to screenshot this, you want to write it down. These are things that need to be showing up in your life as a real estate business owner. If these things are not showing up, you're not going to be as successful as you want to be. Jot down any ahas or notes you have around the 6 core competencies. All right, now we're going to look at the 2 ways you serve your clients. We have functionary versus fiduciary. We learned earlier how important it is to have a mindset that is focused on being of service. So let's imagine doing business with a company for car repair, for example. And that company doesn't care about your needs. They just focus on getting the job done and getting paid. They don't build a relationship with you. They don't stay in touch with you after the job. Now let's imagine doing it with a different car repair company. This one listens to you. They anticipate your needs. They help you make decisions. They educate you during the process. They act like a partner to you in the process. They keep you updated on the work, and they follow up with you even after the deal has done. What is the difference between the two? Well, one is just a functionary relationship, and one is a fiduciary relationship. Your role as a respected and successful agent is to be fiduciary. In The Millionaire Real Estate Agent, Gary Keller explains, a functionary is one who is specific task relationship with the clients. They do the job. A fiduciary is not only one who does the task of the job, they're also high trusted relationship with their clients and feel total responsibility for the outcome. This is especially important in real estate when people are making their most expensive purchase. Why would a prospective buyer or seller prefer to work with an agent who represents them as a fiduciary versus a functionary? Think about that. The reason being is the fiduciary places the needs of the client above their own needs. That goes back to our Y4C2Ts, the win-win or no deal. If the transaction does not benefit the client, then it should not be a deal that goes to closing. Being a fiduciary is a big deal. It's a big honor. It means the relationship has trust. Helping your clients understand your fiduciary responsibility is a huge part of what you offer your clients as their realtor. Think about how you can serve your clients as your fiduciary during a real estate transaction. All right, so we're going to do a little activity. Get out your notebook. We want to be the fiduciary. We're going to look back at the 6 core competencies. We're going to brainstorm around how to be the fiduciary in the core competencies. So when you lead generate, capture, and convert appointments, how are you acting as a fiduciary in that? You can do that by anticipating the needs of your sphere who are considering selling their home by following up with them regularly about the current market. So you're acting as the fiduciary as you're following up with your sphere of influence and putting them in touch with, those neighborhood snaps, the market data, the things like that are important. You're not waiting on them to come to you and go, oh my gosh, did you see this article on Zillow? Or did you see this on CNN or the news or whatever? You're going to them. You're being that real estate expert. That means that you have to be bold and be the voice of those personal conversations one-on-one. The second core competency, present to buyers and sellers and get agreements. So how are you being fiduciary in that? To me, that's where the appointment is held. So many people skip the appointment. They skip the consultation. They go right out. They start showing homes. They take the listing paperwork over. Here, sign this, do this. We're moving so fast. We're e-signing. That's not necessarily being the fiduciary. That could be thought of as putting your needs, because you want a fast deal, ahead of your client. Hold the appointment, set the expectations, educate them on the process. Even if it's their 50 millionth home they bought or sold, they may have questions. This market is different than any market in the history of real estate. Sit down and take the time face to face to meet with them, to let them ask questions, and to educate them about the value you provide and what's going on in the market. That's how you can be the fiduciary. Then you get to show buyers and market sellers. Being the fiduciary in that is advising them with what they're going to do in this market. What does it look like out here for a buyer? What does it look like out here for a seller right now? Is it the same as it was 2 years ago? No. Is it the same as it was 2 months ago? No. This is where you will have to pay attention to what's going on in the market. Fourth core competency is to write and negotiate offers. Being the fiduciary in that realm is somebody who, again, is paying attention to the market, is attending the team meetings and the masterminds and things where you're hearing from top agents the things they're seeing in the market, the things that they're embracing, the strategies and tactics that are being applied to make an offer right now. You're talking to lenders, you're hearing from them present, you're seeing the new programs that are being out so that you can be educated and then turn around and use that skill as the market is changing to be the fiduciary. That's going to garner the best result for your client. And then number 5, you're going to coordinate the sale to closing. So that is partnering with your client, following through, following the timeline, knowing the contract. What are all those blanks for? Can you explain it plainly for someone? Are you going to be the responsible party that's keeping up along the way so that your client's not calling you going, well, what about this? We haven't heard anything about this. You're being proactive in that. That's being the fiduciary. You're being the primary communicator in the relationship. Now, the 6th core competency is a little more difficult. It is managing the money. You're going to be responsible for explaining how people can manage their money and then how you also are going to manage your own, right? It's a high dollar purchase. It's a high dollar sell. A lot of times there are a lot of zeros included in these contracts. It is license law to do the net sheet and the cost worksheet, the buyer's estimated expenses. You need to make sure that you understand how to explain that. What does the lender mean when they're saying, hey, this is the expected cash to close? That's your responsibility to be able to explain that. When you can do that, people will trust you. It gives you validity and you're able to plainly explain to someone and then feel comfortable with the process. When we talked about the Y4C2Ts yesterday, we talked about having a win-win or no deal. integrity to do the right thing. All of these things tie into these core competencies that we're talking about. Being the fiduciary can take you from being a good agent to being a great agent. And it's something that I hope that you embrace wholeheartedly. Jot down your ahas from the difference in being a fiduciary to a functionary relationship. So we're going to review your success system. Nothing else about your business will have as big of an impact on it as the number of leads you have. So all real estate agents either have too many leads or not enough leads. There's no in between. Accountable people achieve results only other people can dream of. So this is where you're going to choose the accountability partner. We talked about it a little bit. We touched on it in session 1. What is an accountability partner? Why is it important? This is where you can either have somebody that you know that got licensed the same time as you, have them, you and them partner together. You can talk to Shacarol as a productivity coach and say, hey, who would be a good person in the program that we can do alongside this? You can reach out to other people you see are doing this Ignite course and partner with them. Or you can reach out to somebody at the office and say, hey, would you be willing to be my accountability partner? So choosing an accountability partner provides you a safe place to share. It helps you follow through with action items. It has someone listen to you and you pay attention to listen to other and you share back and forth. You're going to set that frequency of how often we're going to meet. Are we going to meet every day? We have some people that role play. There's a group of guys that role play every morning from 7 to 7:30, I think. And they script together and they go over the objections they're hearing and they're bettering one another. Not saying that's something you have to do, and yet the option is there. You need to dig deep and find out why you do the things you do. You do that by sharing, bring awareness to it. You're going to create the commitment and stick to it if you have an accountability partner. Why are some people hiring physical trainers? Because it's a lot harder to say, I'm not going to go meet you there when you're paying somebody to meet you at the gym at 5 a.m. You're going to get up, and you're going to put your stretchy pants on, and you're going to put your tennis shoes on, and you're going to go over there. That accountability makes a difference. You have to be also open to receiving feedback when you have an accountability partner. You also too can provide feedback. And then you also have somebody that's a true partner and have a best interest in someone else. So choosing an accountability partner. You can keep the same partner for a long time. You can keep them for a class. You can keep them for an Ignite program. There's different timelines. The point is, you want to, whether it's a, hey, we're going to get together as a group or one-on-one, you set that frequency, you set the expectation, and you show up to achieve and help each other. So here are 6 questions you can use to check in with your accountability partner. How did you do? How did you feel about it? Do you have opportunities for improvement? How are you going to address those opportunities? What were your wins? And how will you celebrate your wins? We're going to do that today, looking at your success habits that we introduced yesterday. So did you have 10 conversations? If you had 7, was it 7 more than you've ever had? Every day it should be more. At the minimum you should get to eventually is the 10. Did you add those people you spoke to your database? Did you send them a handwritten note? Did you do the 10-5-1 social media engagement? Did you check out our enrichments? Those are all things you need to be doing every day following these sessions. It needs to be time blocked, and you need to be having a conversation with your accountability partner or group around you doing these activities. Then you guys can all celebrate together. If you can't measure it, you can't improve it. This is written by Pete Drucker, Australian-American management consultant, educator, and author. The success system is like a tall mountain to climb. It can be achieved by measuring and improving every day. Top agents measure their important numbers so they can improve. You need to start measuring your things now. What are you doing to help yourself accomplish the goal of those 6 core competencies? Again, conversing with your sphere. We're going to brought up this Ford method yesterday. So family, how's your family doing? How is your job going? I heard you got a promotion. I've heard you've been there 15 years. However you can tie that in and make sense. Recreation. Did y'all just get back from Disney World? Have you spent any time at the beach or the lake? It's the summer. Did you have any plans? The kids go to camp. There's always going to be something going on recreationally. And then for them, last time we talked, you had, a dream that you wanted to be in this neighborhood by this time, or you were looking at retiring up north, or whatever it is. In getting into conversation, these conversations, it's just a little format to help you remember ways to talk to people. Because sometimes you start making those calls and you start with some of the people the best. And I'll be honest, I did this too. And then you just start going off about life and this. Oh, you look up, 45 minutes has gone by. You have not said one word about real estate. And they're like, oh, I got to go. I'm running the grocery store. This helps you be focused on how you can connect with them and then how you can bring up real estate, if it makes sense. All right, you want to start with your sphere. This is your database. You can pull up in that command app we talked about yesterday, all of your contacts in there and call them directly from your app. It's really, really cool to be able to do that. Any ahas regarding your success system? Jot those down. Be sure to connect with your accountability partner regarding how you feel about that. All right, to wrap us up today, how has your thinking changed? What ideas or mindsets were new today from today's session? What do you feel differently about? What was meaningful to you? How will your behaviors be different going forward? What actions will you take? And what tools, models, or systems will you use? How will they help you be accountable? All right, we're back at it. So 10 out of 10 conversations, 10 out of 10 contacts added to that database, 10 out of 10 handwritten notes, following the 10 likes, 5 comments, and 1 post or 1 engagement is big. Using the enrichments provided in the Ignite social media, in the Ignite script book. All of that you have access to inside of our Agent Google Drive. There's a folder, New Ignite 22, and it has all of that in there. If you've been to our new agent orientation, a binder that you got included a lot of those enrichments inside of there. The goal is, and the intention is, for you to get 10 out of 10 on these, check these off your list, and feel really good about the progress you're making and the habits that you're creating. I engage every conversation in the spirit of contribution, and people are happy to be in a relationship with me. This is an affirmation you want to say to yourself or put in front of yourself before you start making your calls and connections, because it's going to help you put that intention out there, put that mindset out there that people are ready to hear from you. You're not just going to be bothering them, you're bringing them value. This helps you have the mindset for success. This is where you do the role modeling and the role playing with your accountability partner. You at least want to do that 20 to 30 minutes a day. You have scripts inside the enrichments that I have shared with you, and then you'll create a list of people that you're going to call. You're going to take the time to do that and walk through making those calls, making notes on anything anybody said, and then adding them to your database. You note who to follow up with next. Somebody says, hey, I've got this going on. Make sure that you have that calendared so you can remind yourself to reach back to them according to y'all's conversation. And then you want to celebrate the successes and the wins that you have. It feels really good to start having really good conversations, to start building that database when you look up and you're like, man, I started with 0 and now I have this many people, and knowing that they're counting on you to look out for their best interest in the real estate market and be the market expert. You're able to use Command and Connect to help you with these things. And I told you we already have a lot of scripts in the Ignite packet that you can practice on. All right, our next session is going to be session 3, Connect with your market. I look forward to our next session together and hope that you're enjoying this. We'll talk with you soon. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.